right, everyone, it's about that time. Good morning once again. My name is Stephen Blount, and I am the LG Product Marketing Manager here in the Commercial Display Division. And I am so happy to have with me join today the Senior Manager, National Sales Manager, the one, the only, Mr. Dan Lunick. Dan, how are you?
Good morning, Stephen. I am doing great. Thank you for hosting this webinar, and welcome to all of the folks who have joined us to take a deep dive into the LG Solution Spotlight webinar series focused on video wall solutions. Should be very informative. We look forward to a good session and to getting some good information out. Thanks for joining us.
Awesome, and thank you, Dan, for joining. So everyone, thank you all, as Dan mentioned, thank you for joining us today. We should have an action-packed session, and usually when Dan and I are doing some presentations together, it should get a little bit entertaining and shouldn't put you to sleep too much. But let's go ahead and take a look at our agenda for today. So first we'll start off talking about why LG. Then we'll dive into and looking into some of our video wall applications, what makes sense when you're talking about video walls. Then we'll dive right into, actually we'll talk about our VM5B and our VH7B, and then we will wrap it all up with ending with the rest of our video wall portfolio, and that will be it. We'll send you on your way. Now, a few housekeeping notes for you. As we're going through the session, please, if you have any questions at all, please raise your virtual hand, and we'll be monitoring the session. So we'll go ahead and answer that question that you may have, or we will unmute you so you can ask that question verbally. So you can use the chat box, you can use the Q&A box, or you can raise your virtual hand, and I'll unmute you. Okay? Great. Let's go ahead and get started. Well, first of all, of course, today we're going to be talking about our video wall solutions, but here at LG in the Commercial Display Division, we do have solutions across all these different verticals, from retail, QSR, corporate government, transportation, education, hospitality, healthcare, and so on and so forth. Today, we'll be talking about the video wall solutions on how the video wall solutions actually does take care of quite a number of the verticals that I've already mentioned, and we'll talk about that shortly. Now, one thing that you all may always recall with at each and every one of our sessions and any presentation that you'll have with LG, we always make sure that we talk about our great IPS technology. Our IPS technology is something that separates us from the rest. It is something that gives us great super wide viewing angles. And with the super wide viewing angles, this is very important in digital signage because you have your walker-bys, your passer-bys, your driver-bys, and those that are going by a digital signage screen, the more time that you're actually able to see a monitor, then that means that you're going to be able to receive that actual message. So that's the importance of that. And then, of course, monitor wouldn't be good without having great color accuracy and being a stable panel all in itself. And these are all the great advantages that you get with our IPS technology. Now, of course, I can go on and on talking about the great benefits and advantages of our IPS technology. And, yes, you might say, Stephen, well, you're pre-biased. You're an LG employee. You're absolutely correct. But the thing is, we also have our partners out there that also tout about our IPS technology. They've taken our IPS technology and they've placed it into their own products themselves. These lead brand names have placed our technology into their products. Of course, we own the patent rights to it, but they are still using our products into theirs, and that is a great way, a great effort of flattery there. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at the different vertical applications that we have. So first off we have is retail. So video walls in the retail environment, as we're taking a look here, you'll see that the panels, they are in the vertical orientation and wrapping around this particular pillar. These are 55-inch video wall panels, and with that, You know, in this particular scenario, you know, it'd be great for shopping centers, department stores, any mall locations, even inside of an actual retailer. We're seeing that more and more today, actually putting a 2x2 at times into a flagship store and even many chain stores, putting it right there along the wall is really, it draws the attention of the customers that are walking into the store and really helping that retailer tell their story. And that's what you have here. Now, one of the things I would like to also mention is, yes, we are talking about video wall panels today, but I also want to share with you, we do have a new product that's up and coming. Some of you may have heard of it. We have OLED coming, right? So OLED is here on our consumer side, but it's also coming on our commercial side. So you might have seen it at the Digital Signage Expo that we showed it off there, and just last week at InfoComm. So we have a particular OLED product, signage product, that actually bends around curves. So it's concave and it is concave and convex, and with that, you're able to wrap around poles just as you see here. So you can actually bend the screen itself to wrap around different fixtures like this. Now, this will be a custom installed product, but still, nevertheless, still can be something that can enhance your application. But now we'll talk right back to the video walls. Okay, now let's talk about transportation. In transportation areas, in airports, subways, wherever you may be, always a great opportunity to have video walls. It's really funny how it's almost like it's overnight how airports are changing out their signage. You know, they're going away from their regular signage and moving to the digital signage. You're seeing digital signage popping up all over the airports, and video walls is definitely one of the right ways to go when you're talking about digital signage in these areas. So we will move on from here. Other verticals that you want to keep in mind is the restaurant. So restaurant and even quick service restaurants too. As you're taking a look here, you know, this is more of a high class restaurant. Also, sports bars and grills will have video walls. In some video wall installations in the sports bar and grill restaurants, they will actually, we've had a couple of partners do this, we can separate the screens to actually have individual games, and then for that big game, maybe like the NBA Finals that's going on right now, for that big particular game, having it all come back together to make one big picture. So there's always unique things that you can do with video walls that makes any type of environment very inviting, exciting, and drawing all types of walks of life to your area, to your establishment. Also, command centers. So a lot of things going on, you know, whether it's corporate or command centers, video walls will definitely help you bring the audience in and everyone together in a room and understand what is the objective at hand, that you're able to get into the details. With us also having our higher end mod panels in the VH7B and the VM5B, you know, having 4K resolution when they're brought together is a big thing, especially in the command center areas. Being able to see those fine details as you're zooming in a particular location. Now, one of the things that you should also know about is, especially with our higher end video wall panels in the VM5B, the VH7B, and you also have seen it in our other video wall panels in the LV77A and the LV75A, and we'll review this again later, but our video wall solution, it has image gap reduction. So these visuals here on the screen gives you an idea of exactly what that is. So as, you know, a soccer ball is moving from, you know, one panel to the next, you could have a little bit of distortion if you don't have the proper video wall solution. But the good thing with our particular solution, you will not have that at all. As you see here, you got things kind of, maybe I shouldn't have chose this type of color, separating things, but you have the different images that are separating. However, with our product, it keeps everything whole, as you see here. Even as it goes from one panel to the next panel, everything will stay together.
So, Stephen, this is a really good point to make. It's a technological advantage that we have. The way that the image is displayed on the screen essentially keeps the pixels together as you move from unit to unit. We actually have some technical background on this. We don't have it on this slide, but it's very important. Video walls are going to be placed in areas where people do want to see real live images. In some cases, you'll talk about restaurants and bars. This is showing a soccer game. So right now, the big thing in the U.S. is all of the soccer that's going on. So if you think about a place to put a video wall, a bar or restaurant that has one, this image would be perceived by the customer as being clearer and better than an image that does not have image gap reduction.
Excellent. Thank you, Dan, for adding that additional input there. Well, there you have it, and I'll leave it at that. Moving on here, so we have the clear viewing angles. And you know what, and actually, Dan, right before we jumped on here, you were making some great points on the clear viewing angles. Why don't you go ahead and share the audience what you shared with me?
So the key here, this goes back to the IPS panel advantage. Left to right or top to bottom, the angle is 45 degrees. So as you think about where these might be placed, Stephen showed a slide earlier that's indicated it was in an atrium, which maybe the person going up on the escalator would be at eye level, but a lot of people in an atrium would be literally looking up at a 45-degree angle. If you have the outstanding viewing angle that the LG product has, you do not lose that brightness top to bottom. If you're talking about walking through an airport and having a series of these screens in a 1 by X number of outputs, so it could be literally 1 by 20, and you'd want to be able to see those screens and have them be clear at any viewing angle, this really does matter. It's very, very important, especially in branding, especially in image for a company, to have their colors be accurate, and this type of in luminance and capability from the center of the screen all the way to the top of the top screen in a 1 by 5 scenario at 1 meters up to 5 meters makes your image just stand out. It's always going to look the way it should if you're standing below it at a 0-degree angle up to a 45-degree angle.
Excellent. Thank you, Dan. Couldn't have said that better myself, so that's why I tossed it right over to you. Now, of course, with our products, our video wall products, and even our monitors, it would be nothing without having the proper software. Well, with our SuperSign C software, that helps bring our video wall panels together and give them control. So this gives you the ability to actually control and manage your panels. So as you see here, you have, and this is a 2 by 2 scenario. As you look up at the screen there, you'll see that they are numbered. And that would be how you would have your particular panels. You would have to identify each one of your panels by a set ID, and you would make sure that everything is corresponding to how you have it set up from the software to how you have the screens connected. And that is keeping everything together. Now, as you continue to go on through using the software, things will start to auto-populate. As you see here, the status has now turned green. You now also see here fields are now being filled in automatically, and that is because of the connection with using our SuperSign C software from the laptop to the actual monitors or panels, and you can have that connected RS-232C, and but also the great thing is, with our other panels, you can also have it connected via LAN cable, so that's Ethernet cable, right? So a lot of different options Now, before, as just mentioned, the only connection that you are going to be making with any video wall panels in controlling them would be via RS-232C. However, with the innovation of our video wall panels, now we have moved that needle from RS-232C now to our LAN Ethernet cables. So a lot of different options now that you have into controlling and managing your video wall panels. All right, now what I'd like to do is have Dan come right back on the mic here, and Dan's going to walk us through our new edition of our Into the Clover family, the VM5B, and Dan's going to tell us all about that. Dan?
Thanks, Stephen. So what we've talked about so far, the Ips technology, the capability of the viewing angles, the different verticals, all come together with this next generation of product. So what we currently have out in the market is the VH7B. So we are calling it Clover. We talk about a naming convention. And in order to understand the LG product line, it helps to understand what the letters and the numbers stand for. So VH, video wall, high for high brightness, 7 for 700 nit, and B for the model year or the plant that it came out of. And so the 55 VH7B is our 55-inch version of that. So I just gave you guys in a nutshell the way to look at all of our part numbers. And you can look at now the next generation of this. V for video wall, M for medium brightness, 5 for 500 nit, again B for the model year. You'll note that we're bringing it out in 2016. You're probably wondering, why did that happen? And the answer is pretty straightforward. We didn't introduce this in the U.S. It's a worldwide model. A key benefit to LG and working with us is that should you have international needs, many of our models are international in scope. So the two products that we're talking about here are essentially siblings. One is a brighter sibling, the other is a little bit dimmer sibling. There's no joke to be had there. So if we talk about the product category, the VM5B and the VH7B, we see that these products, once again, are smart video wall at the narrowest even bezel based on Webos. So we brought in another variable here. We brought in the Webos variable. But with this product, what we have is at 9 millimeters per bezel on each monitor, 1.8 millimeters when you combine the bezel, you still have the thinnest bezel possible with a 700 nit product for an area that would be the atrium that we showed earlier, or a 500 nit area in a place that does not require that brightness of 700 nits. The key is all of these products are digital signage, so they are 24/7, turn it on, set it, and forget it. They're designed to run all the time, and that is key when you're talking about places like airports, when you're talking about certain venues that run all the time. Can you turn them off when they're not being used? Absolutely. Do we recommend it? Not a bad idea. But when you do need a product that's going to run 24/7, it's going to have the full warranty support that entails, this is a product that will do that. So we will reduce total cost of ownership by ensuring that the product does stay up and running. You're not going to be replacing things. The bezel depth and design is absolutely stellar. If anyone was at DSE or at Infocom this year, you got to see that. I will say this, there are going to be areas in your neighborhood, possibly in your city, where we have these installed. And when that occurs, you'll note it because when you're walking up, you'll see the ultra-thin bezel scenario. So some of the pain points that it overcomes is a slimmer bezel size, so there's not as much gap between the two images. The uniformity and stability, calibration uniformity, and the ability to install and configure displays easily using the SuperSign software, which Stephen talked about. So as I pointed out, this is the flagship product. What we're going to talk about today is good, better, best. And I guess we're starting with the best, not the good, not the better, but the best product we manufacture, the best product that can provide the most outstanding image for your customer. As we look a little bit further and we talk about the narrowest even bezel, we kind of show what our competitors look like and even some of our good or better products. So 2.3 millimeters, 1.2 millimeters combined for 3.5 millimeters, that is a noticeable gap. It can be overcome by distance, so the further away you stand, it seems as if it's not that important, but the closer you are, the more it will be noticeable. Again, ours is an even gap of 9 millimeters per panel, again, adding up to 1.8 millimeter, or as we like to call it, the thinnest bezel manufactured. Note another product by LG, 55LV7. 7A, so it would be 2014, and it would be a 7 series, so it would be 700 nits. Again, this product is apples to apples comparison with the VH7B, with the difference being the bezel is much thinner on the new Clover product. Again, going back to certain things that we have and verification in Norway that this is the thinnest bezel manufactured against Samsung, against LG, against another Samsung product. So we are certified worldwide, I guess is the best way to put that. Talking about the viewing angle, again, looking at the height of the viewing angle, we talk about a manufacturer, we'll call that manufacturer SS, and we'll call it another manufacturer LG. You guys can draw your own conclusions, but it is verified that our product maintains its image conformity and brightness further up the chain on a 1x6 that goes up to 3 meters above where the individual is standing. So you're standing right below this, you're going to be looking up. It does not start to lose its brightness until it gets almost halfway through the third model, or the second monitor from the top. The key here is the image looks better all across the viewing array. In terms of uniform brightness, now I'm going to digress a little bit here and put out an invitation to everybody on this call. We have a lot of people on this call who would probably like to see these products in person. In Chicago, in our national headquarters for the Business Solutions team here in Lincolnshire, we have our Business Innovation Center where we feature these products. And we have a video wall featuring the Clover product in our lobby. And you can actually go up and see that the uniform brightness across the entire panel. Now the edges are where you have to take a look. So if you take a look at the edges of our competitors, and you guys can actually see this when you're out and about, sometimes in an airport. I was actually traveling through an airport recently, believe it or not. I occasionally do that, and when I did, I noticed that on a non-video wall product, it was very, very clear that the edges had issues. Now that I've mentioned it to you, you'll be walking around and you'll be like, oh, now I notice it. So I apologize for making you notice something you're probably going to see every day now, as long as you look at it. But the improved brightness uniformity of 90% brightness from edge to edge is actually a clear advantage that we offer, and the Clover product offers that. As we move through to essentially enhanced calibration, the enhanced calibration ensures that while you work on the compensation, color, and brightness, the algorithm allows it to easily calibrate so that it is all like the single display. Now the key here is not necessarily when you get them out of the box. They're going to come calibrated and they may look outstanding. They may be calibrated, and once they are calibrated, they will look outstanding again. Now, say a year down the road you have an issue, or maybe 2 years down the road you have an issue, you need to recalibrate. And the reason you recalibrate is because you're going to replace one unit. A new unit calibrated to the old unit is how you would make that screen look outstanding. And that is basically what we would do with video image creation, calibrating the different displays to look like one display. And that's an algorithm that is present on this particular product. Again, system on chip. So I mentioned at the beginning, and I'll mention it again, Webos. Webos is our way of putting the brains into the brawn of of the screen itself. So we have an optimized quad-core system on chip, which offers you outstanding performance, 1.2 gigahertz quad-core, a 2.5 gigabyte DDR with 32-bit chip. That's extremely powerful. A 550 megahertz video processor with full video codec. So it handles most every video codec you're going to throw at it, which means you're not going to have that be an issue. And then 8 gigabyte of storage, 4 of which is operated by the operating system, gives you the ability to add content to the screen. Why in the world would you do that? Well, you might do it for obvious reasons, and the obvious reason I have is failover. If the product needs to be set up in an area where it's a 1x4 and it's going to be showing images that are transitioning and something goes wrong, you want to have an image on that screen that it can fail over to. And that's just one of the advantages to having a high-performance system on chip. Another advantage is to utilize the web to upload and update images and to create those images the way you need to. So that is the benefit of a high-performance system-on-chip solution as is offered on the VH and the VM series from LG. So, Webos Platform, what does it give you? Simple customization, web-centric platform, intuitive user interface, and simple management. So the basic thought process behind this, and we have done this in the last year and a half, is to work with partners. If you are a partner who has a solution, you can reach out to us. We will put you in touch with the right person to get our software development kit. That software development kit allows you to create the simple customization. It's not as though everybody's going to utilize that software development kit. That is for people who have a content management solution they want to implement. If you don't know of that and you want to find out about it, we actually have 6 different partners in the U.S. Some of you may recognize Signage Live and others who can help you with utilizing the Webos platform. But you will note that it does support HTML, RSS, widget, and docs. So it's a very, very robust solution for a Webos platform. So, image gap reduction. Now we go back to what exactly it is. How does it work exactly? And that is what it allows this product to do is essentially ensure that the image flow is not down to down, which can result in a scanning that results in the image gap that you see when things are moving, but it actually is down to up. So you end up having it meet in the middle. That rasterization of the image, that algorithm that we use, is actually an advantage. So it does offer a seamless viewing experience, really important in full motion video, really important when you're putting these in a place where they're going to be showing, I guess we're into soccer, so soccer, football, baseball, anywhere that there's a moving image. The Olympics are coming up. A video wall using our VH7 or VM5 series is going to have an advantage there. LAN daisy chain is just another way of controlling and distributing the image across the LAN. So essentially you can take one PC, put it in, and then you're going to get true ultra high definition using the LAN as a daisy chain from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 with no degradation of the image and execution of commands, control, monitor, and even a firmware update. Why would a firmware update be important? Because down the road we're going to make firmware updates to the product. We're going to actually possibly have updates to the SoC. There's potential for you to improve the performance of the screen using the LAN daisy chain solution. So we've talked about a lot of different solutions, but some of it is just, hey, how does it get installed? You know, what happens when the hang and bang guys show up? I'm assuming most of the people on this call are in sales. If you're in sales, part of the questions that your customer may ask is, can I install it myself? And the answer is possible, but I would have a professional do it. That's my recommendation. You guys know that selling services and support and installation can be very profitable, so it also can be very beneficial to your customer. We do have guide bracket capability and classified in-out ports, which are easy to recognize with white being input and green being output. So it's very easy to understand when you're doing it, but we would always recommend you use a licensed and certified installer so that it goes in properly. When you have 9 millimeters per bezel, you have very little room for error, and you want this properly installed. These are state-of-the-art video wall solutions. You want a state-of-the-art look to it, and having someone professionally install it is a good idea. So again, we do have button control. Now, that is interesting that you would think that we even put this on the presentation, but that is actually a benefit that we have that some of our competitors have eliminated. They have gone strictly with control over the LAN, or control over a control port, or control over a handheld control. We have decided that we're going to make sure you get the maximum level of control, and so we still have the 8-button plus 2-button solution, essentially a true digital signage solution. And something that we offer on all of our displays, and this is where I get to talk about our additional advantages. The basic thought process here, conformal coating. A conformal coating can be described as industrial nail polish. It can be described as a small, thin layer of superhuman strength that essentially keeps the moisture out, which is really one of the things that's going to cause challenges in an environment where moisture might be present. Think restaurants, think bars, think anytime this is placed in a venue where it might be open air. So if you put a video wall into a stadium, you may not want to put it, well, you're not putting it in the enclosure out in the center field. You're putting it under all of the overhang. So it's not going to get subject to rain, but the changes in humidity. Think on the West Coast or on the East Coast, the maritime layer comes in the morning and you get that smell of salt air. Well, the smell of salt air to you smells like fresh springtime, but to the monitor it smells like I'm going to fail because I'm going to get coated with moisture. The conformal coating is a Dow Corning 3-1965 conformal coating. It essentially reduces the amount of moisture to zero that gets through, causing no failure over time. So with conformal coating, without conformal coating, you can see right here, that's the difference. The corrosion in two different places, the places that are most important, where your product gets electricity, where the electricity changes places from a conductor or a capacitor into the screen itself. So what we have is a solution to that essentially coats those electrical pieces and makes them much more durable. It's really important. This is not to be confused with IP5X. IP5X, ingression protection ×5, is an actual certification. This goes a long way. I would say about 85 to 90% of the way towards IP5X. It will stop dust, iron filings, humidity, and other things from long-term problems with the screen, but it is not the actual confirmation of this through a certification. And this is valid on all of our digital signage product, not just these particular products. Another good reason to always be selling LG. So the SoC sync playback, once again, playback eliminates the need for a second PC. We talked all about this, and essentially the ability for it to really advance your product. And then the UHD daisy chain, again, one player can play up to a 1x4 or up to a 2x2 or a 3x3. And we do have something I didn't mention, OPS Kit capable. So open pluggable slot kit or open specification. This basically Stephen just whispered specification. Thanks for the clarification. This is available to you with an additional kit that allows it to essentially plug in. So you've got a few different options. HD-based T, if you want to run up to 100 meters away, you want to have the image come from a source through an HD-based T player all the way across through the cable. Once again, 328 feet, so you can have everything remotely located and then come out to the screen. This is maybe very, very valuable in a large venue. Like I said, basically a stadium of some sort. And finally, studio mode with Supersign C, the capability to essentially be used in a studio. This is an area where we've had good success with this product. The product is essentially designed to go low color temperature for broadcasting and studio lighting, and we've had actual implementation. So if you know of an opportunity in your town where they're updating their Channel 4, Channel 6 background with video wall, this is a great solution for that, and one that we've successfully implemented. And I am going to, after that long outline of this product, I'm going to turn it back over to Stephen. He's going to give you the product-by-product lowdown, the good, better, best solution we've kind of talked about. Again, my name is Dan Lunig, National Sales Manager. I'll be here, and we can answer any questions.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Dan. And Dan has a wealth of knowledge, been in the industry for quite some time, and he just gave you some of it. So we're all definitely better people because of it. So now we have our 49-inch VL5B. So this 49 VL5B, this is that good category, right? Great entry-level product for the video wall solution. This also, you could mirror this with our old product, and we shouldn't just say old, but our 35 LV, or LV35, excuse me, 35A video wall panel. We'll look at that a little bit closer, but basically what I'm saying here is this is essentially replacing that, especially in that 49-inch category. We're keeping the 55 going for a little bit with the LV35A, but the 49-inch VL5B that we're looking at right here will be replacing that in our portfolio. Dan did mention it earlier, definitely with our best category in the VH7B and the VM5B, you have the 1.8 bezel, but here in our good category, you have the 3.5 millimeter bezel here. Okay, and now let's just, taking a look at our great wealth, our breadth of video wall panels. We have, the best in the VH7B. We've also now included the VM5B. We also have some of our legacy products that were also part of the best category, which is in the 55 LV77A and also in the LV75A. Dan did give us a note on what these numerics actually stand for. So just to remind you, as we look at the LV77A and the LV75A, that second numeric in the 7 here and in the 5 here, that is representing the nits. So this is 700 nits, and this one is 500 nits. And now, as I was talking about the LV35, so once again, the VL5B that I just spoke about is replacing the 49-inch LV35A. And and it's a great thing. So continuing on with our breadth of video wall solutions, we have these are truly legacy products in the 47-inch WV50 MS and the 47 WV50 BR models. Now, these are both great models, and they both actually have high nits. You don't see it in the actual name here, so that's why we always educate you on the naming convention, because we have switched things up quite a bit in the past. So we want to make sure that you're always staying with us, but looking at those old, I should be careful with calling things old, but the legacy products, because it's still good, they have a lot of wisdom in them. So you have here the 800 nits here and 500 nits there. So a lot of great solutions. These, all of them that we're talking about and that I'm showing you on the screen, we are shipping all of them, except for that 49-inch LV35A. So I know that we've gone through a lot of information today. This is just giving you a little bit more of what these products actually look like. We continue to win great awards at Infocom, at the Digital Signage Expo for all of our products, and especially still in the video wall category. But thank you so much for joining us today. I know that we went a little bit longer than we wanted to. However, we were trying to make sure that everyone joined on. But the great thing is that at each and every one of our webinars, they are recorded. You can get to that recording by visiting us on our YouTube channel page, which is at LG Commercial Display USA. You can find all of our recordings from the past LG Solution Spotlight webinars to the present, which just from today. And then you also can sign up on our website on LG.com. On LG.com US Commercial, you can sign up for our next webinar, which we will be talking all about our commercial OLED solutions.
That's going to be exciting, Stephen.
Yes,
commercial
it is.
OLED.
Yes.
Is that a 55-inch double-sided OLED screen?
You're double right. Okay. Absolutely. And we might even up you a little bit and give you a 65-inch with that as well. So we have a lot of great solutions that will be up and coming. So we'll talk about that on July 12th. Mark your calendars. And we will open up the gates for you to register for that by the end of the week. You all, thank you so much. Follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And we have one more message from Dan.
Again, Stephen, thank you for hosting this. Thank you to all of the reps and customers who joined. I want to just give you guys a heads up. We have and will be announcing a new program, LG Pro, which is going to launch on July 1st. Keep an eye open for that. If you're getting emails from us, you'll see that email. It is going to be a advanced improvement to our reseller program. It'll be open to all resellers. It will allow you to be closer to LG and hopefully get more support from us than you've had in the past. I would encourage you to reach out to your personal LG account manager anytime you have an opportunity. The way we have found we win is with you. The way we have found we win more opportunities is to start early in these opportunities, especially in digital signage video wall opportunities where there is design, support, service, and other things needed. So again, thank you for joining us. Stephen, thank you for hosting this, and you have one last thing to point out?
Absolutely. Dan, sometimes we get so carried away, we don't even stop to pause and say, hey, you got any questions? So we're going to go ahead and open the lines up and see if you all have any questions. We didn't give you permission and open up the gates that you can ask any questions during the presentation. No questions came in through the chat, but this is now the time that we'll open it up additionally for any questions that you may have. Please, at this time, go ahead and you can raise your virtual hand, or you could go ahead and put a question in the chat box. This is the time to do so. And you're quite welcome. We had some people thanking us for our time, and thank you right back for your time. So appreciate it. And it's always great to see familiar faces and names joining the webinars time and time again. Really appreciate your loyal support and to continue to sell our products. That's most important. Thank you. Well, everyone, it doesn't look like we have any questions coming through. So once again, Dan and I want to thank you for joining us, and please be sure to follow us on all of our social media connections. And thank you. Have a good day. Bye now.